See how wide the forks are getting on these bikes now. Bit of a party going on in that particular area. So he's making his way down now towards the next intermediate split. He's 200 meters from there. He's going to go through there, set the time, and then make his way onto the cobbles for this final rise up towards the top of the climb. So I was just thinking about Uganda itself and thinking about how it's linked so closely with cycling, and for many people might be an unusual way. But of course Uganda was the home of Paul Sherwin, one of our colleagues who we sadly lost a few years ago and is still so much missed. And Paul Sherwin lived in Uganda, and now his legacy is setting up the Paul Sherwin project. They're doing so much as Lee Yu goes round that turn. Just trying to help the Karamojong local people build skills to participate in the local area. There's a vocational school there, and they're doing everything they can to try and help with the school there, which Paul Sherwin had been so much linked with and trying to help everybody out. The teachers' residence there, trying to help to grow student enrollment and attract great teachers, so they needed housing to live in the area. Ongoing, they're working on the water, the power and the landscaping. There's extreme weather in isolation in that particular area, so water and electricity aren't readily available. And they've already completed the Hoffman family mother and child residence, allowing young mothers to keep learning while they take care of their youngest child. There's also the hall there. And that hall is named after Paul Sherwin's co-commentator, Phil Liggett, helping to achieve Paul's dreams that he had for that particular area. So there's the Phil Liggett Hall, a multi-purpose hall to help the community with meals, assemblies, celebrations. And there's the Paul Sherwin Workshop, to offer life-changing opportunities to empower young women in that particular area. And the Tour de France, I had breakfast with Phil Liggett. It's always a pleasure. And Phil gave me a Paul Sherwin Project cap that I wore during the Tour de France. And if you want to take a look at the Paul Sherwin Project. He's sadly missed, but his legacy and what he did in Uganda lives on. And I don't think, until we went to his memorial service, that all of us except Phil realised just how much Paul Sherwin had contributed to his local area. That's what the fun of these World Championships is all about, that helper at the side of the road running alongside with the Rwandan flag. This rider is only 2 kilometres now from the finish. And while I was thinking about Uganda and Paul Sherwin, and we hear there about Phil Liggett, as we go back to the race start, our next rider's about to go. This, I think, is Ted Tosavi of Benin. Ted Tosavi about to get underway. The Benin rider gets going. As I was reading that information about Paul Sherwin out to you and just going through some of that detail of what he's trying to do with the legacy of Paul Sherwin, Phil Liggett is very involved. The family of Paul Sherwin is involved. But of course, we talked about the rhinos a few moments ago, and Phil Liggett is so linked with helping rhinos and trying to make sure that rhinos don't disappear from Africa. The two of them lived in Africa, Phil Liggett in South Africa and Paul Sherwin in Uganda, and Phil is still pushing it all the time. Help the rhinos is what he always talks about. And I'm sure Phil isn't here, but he was in Rwanda a couple of weeks ago. He rode with the president, and he messaged me before this commentary, and I know he's looking forward to watching at home. but also I'm sure Paul Sherwin would have absolutely loved to be here. He's almost reached the top of the cobbles. The Rwandan rider is going to set the standard for everyone else to chase this afternoon. Just to update you on the intermediate time splits, Marolt is the fastest rider for Slovenia. 15 minutes 56.59 at the first split. This rider is still fastest at 19 kilometres and 26.6. Comes up to the 1 kilometre to go point. Gets into the aero tuck. He'll just wind his way now to the bottom of this last drag up towards the finish. He's being urged along the road then. Such a massive crowd lining the actual run-in here to the finish. He's being brought home this afternoon. Etienne Tuizere is almost there. He's got the race radio tucked down the front of that skin suit. Still looks good, still got some power in the legs. Manages to stay in the aero skis all the way to the top of the climb. Let's see what this time is going to be. The speakers urging him across the finish line. Etienne Tuizere is going to be in the hot seat for Rwanda. Don't know for how long, but he's going to be there. Tuizere reaches the top of the climb. Fantastic performance. His average speed we'll take a look at. He's going to have dropped a little bit on the run-in. 42.9 kilometres an hour for today's course of over 31 kilometres. Tuizere sets the standard for everybody else to chase.
Please, let's cheer on all riders because they are all champions.
Li Yu goes through the second intermediate split for the People's Republic of China. New fastest time, 27 minutes 45.